Hello everyone, Helen here. Thanks for coming to join me today. Hope you're doing okay. And a special welcome if you are a new subscriber. So it's lovely to welcome you here. And welcome back everybody else. If you've watched me regularly, you'll know that I hardly ever do the reminders that podcasters and vloggers often do, which is please subscribe, please like. Because I know I've got a lovely group of viewers now, and actually I'm quite happy with that. I'm not trying to grow myself into a great big YouTube channel, and although I don't think you get a lot of choice about that really, whether you stay small or grow big. But anyway, I'm quite happy as I am. But it is nice if you click on like. I think it does allow other people to. There's more chance that other people will find out about me. And might be another like-minded person who just likes a little bit of gentle chat about crafty things. And today I'm just going to update you on some finished projects and and a little bit of an update on my 100-day project leaves. I did a bigger update last time, but I thought, well, I'll just update you on the last few days today, and we'll go off for a little walk at the end as well. So sit back and relax. So finished projects. Well, the first one to tell you about I haven't got here anymore because it was made as a gift and it's been sent off and received now by my niece Nell. It was for her birthday in March, so it was a bit late. And I would say the main reason it was late was just because I was using yarn that I didn't like. You'll have heard me go on about it before if you've been here a few times, and that's the Drops Muscat. And I just did not enjoy crocheting with it. It's just so splitty that it took me much longer than it really needed to. So it just wasn't nice. I was constantly having to undo it because bits had split and were sticking out, little bits of yarn sticking out. Oh, anyway. So, and I had already made two other of the characters from this book, the right way up, Crochet Iconic Women. I've made Emmeline Pankhurst and I've made Jane Austen. And so Greta Thunberg is the one that I've just made for Nell. So Nell is very interested in those sorts of environmental issues that Greta Thunberg has highlighted over the past few years. So, and I have just started another project from that book. I'm going to do Queen Elizabeth II next. So I've just started. I've just made her legs, I felt that I really needed to make a Queen Elizabeth in this special Platinum Jubilee year. And I'll probably have to make some corgis as well, although there isn't a corgi pattern in that. It's just the women. So that's that on the go. My next finished project then is this cushion. Yay! So this was on my wish list from the beginning of the year because I was given this panel with a gnome on it by my lovely friend Margaret, and I really just didn't want it to sit there in my stash for month after month. And so I promised you, if you were watching that podcast, that I would get it done in April. So I picked it from my wish list of things that I really wanted to get done this year. And yeah, so far I'd only just managed it, mind. I made it on the 30th of April. Still, that it's done now and I'm really pleased with it. I am not very experienced at using sewing machine at all. I've made the odd project bag I've made before, but not really much else. I can put a zip in. I have done that before a few times, but it's quite a few years since I had my sewing machine out even, so I had to dust it off, and I was very pleased that it was working in working order, even though it's been a bit neglected. And this is just a perfect project for anybody who hasn't used a sewing machine very much or at all, because I just did a very simple envelope kind of opening there. And I was going to put a fastener or two on, but actually it's lying really flat, so I don't think I'm going to, not at the moment anyway. So yeah, I mean, you just have to sew in straight lines, which is not as easy as you might think, if you know, unless you're an experienced sewing machine person. Yes, I did have a few wobbly so in fact even that one there is, anyway, well, not to look too closely, it's just lovely to have the cushion. So I'm very pleased that I've finally done that. Okay, another project that I'm really pleased that I have finished knitting anyway, the knitted part of it, and that is my mitered square leftover sock yarn blanket. Join as you go. So I have done 9 squares by 9 squares, make it into a square. I decided quite some time ago, because I've been doing this for well over a year, maybe more. Did I start it in 2020? I can't remember. I've been doing it for quite a while. And so I decided that I was just going to make it into a lap blanket. And anyway, but this seemed to be an appropriate size now. I just didn't enjoy doing it. I didn't enjoy all of the picking up of stitches. I mean, it's not that hard, I know, I just don't really enjoy it that much. So it's not quite finished because I've got a bit of fleecy fabric to use as a backing, so it's going to be a really nice, warm, cosy lap blanket. But yeah, at least the knitting part is done, and I can tick that off my project list. Okay, what next? Okay, my next thing I'm going to show you, finished project, is in this bag here. And it's not one that I've made myself, but I thought it was worth sharing with you. This is the bag that I take out with me whenever I go on a walk. And, you know, I have my binoculars in there and a notebook and a woolly hat and mitts if I'm not wearing them, my phone and a camera. So all the bits that I might need just on a little short walk. If I go on a longer walk, I use my rucksack, but this is mostly the one that I use on a daily basis. And for ages, I've had in the back pocket here a cloth and a plastic bag. So that if I want to sit down on one of the benches that I sometimes come across and it's a bit damp, I can just wipe it down with a cloth and put the plastic bag on to sit on, and I won't get a wet bottom. But I've been looking for quite a while for a sit mat that would fit into here. So you can get folding ones, but none that would fold to the right size to fit in here. So I decided finally to ask my mum, because my mum is brilliant at making things on the sewing machine. And so I handed the project to her to do. And she has made me the most lovely sit mat, which hopefully you can see now in this little bit of film. So I've got some lovely warm ladybird fleecy fabric, and then there's some wadding in between that fleecy layer and the back, which is some ripstop nylon, which actually, yeah, we did have to buy a little piece of that. So, and that's waterproof. And yeah, and then it's kind of done in 4 sections. I don't know if you can really tell that, so that it folds easily and it fits perfectly into my bag. So it's so nice. That's going to get lots of use. So a big thank you to my mum for making me that. Sorry about all that rustling. Okay, so projects that I'm busy doing at the moment. Not a lot really, because really my creative energy is going into my 100-day project, the leaves, really. So I've got a nice simple pair of socks on the go using this West Yorkshire Spinners Peacock colourway yarn. I used the Blue Tit colourway a while ago in this series of bird colours. Really liked it. I think those are lovely colours. Just some plain socks, because it's just nice to have something simple to do. It's all I've wanted recently. So that's the socks. And while on the subject of socks, you might have seen in a previous podcast at some point that I was experimenting with using my leftover Stylecraft DK yarn to make some socks. and I really loved them the first time I wore them because they were really nice and soft and you know, warm, lovely. But now that they've been washed 2 or 3 times, they've gone a bit hard, not quite crispy, but do you know what I mean? Not really nice and soft. So I'm not so keen. So I'm not rushing off to make more socks with the Stylecraft DK. So, but it was worth a try anyway. And it was nice knitting, double knitting socks. They were much quicker to make as well. Anyway, so that's those. And then I think finally the other thing I've got on the go is, well, yeah, to go back to the drops yarn. So I finished making Greta, and I thought, well, what am I going to do with this yarn that I hate using? But, well, I suppose I could give it to a charity shop, or I could, you know, think of something else. And then I realised I hadn't actually tried knitting with it. And, well, I had absolutely no problem knitting with it. No, I had no problem, because the problem with crocheting with it was it being so splitty, and knitting with it, absolutely fine. So I have been knitting my way through what I've got, and I'm going to use all of that drops muscat for making these lovely cloths. They can be dishcloths or face cloths, and I think they're just really nice given as gifts. So, and I'm really enjoying it, and it's another nice, simple, you know, project to do if you don't want to have to think about a pattern or anything like that. So, yeah, quite pleased with that. Oh, and I've nearly forgotten one more finished project sitting over there is my April gnome. And a bit like the gnome cushion, which I'd said I would do in April. Yeah, my poor little April gnome got left right till the end. I did have quite a busy April, I have to say. I bought a yarn set from Lucy Locketland, some lovely bright colours here, and just used my favourite Never Not Gnoming pattern by Sarah Shearer, and I just added a few little extra details to the pattern. A little bit of colour work in the hat, and a tassel to the end of the hat, and a beautiful stripy beard. I don't know, I just fancied him having a stripy beard, and he does look very jolly and happy. Good for spring, yeah. And yeah, I don't think there's anything more to say about him. It's just a small one. But yeah, he wasn't quite finished in April. But I'm doing this as part of the Year of Gnomes knit along that Sarah Shearer is running this year. Although I'm not actually uploading photos to Ravelry, which and I think those photos then go into a prize draw. But I'm just enjoying going along with it and knitting a gnome a month. So that's you there. And then a project I'm just about to start. Well, it's one that I saw when I was watching Lovely Penny from Penelope's Chinwag. And if you haven't watched Penny yet, then I do recommend you go and watch her podcast. You just get a really, really lovely mix of things that she chats about. A little bit of crafting, but all sorts of things. So yeah, do go and check her out if you haven't been and visited her yet. And she was wearing on one of her podcasts a sweater that she said was one of her absolute favourites, and I really loved it. Hers was in kind of shades of blue, really beautiful sweater, and it comes from this book, West Yorkshire Spinners Croft Shetland Tweed book, and the sweater is called, oh, I did have my place in it, the Fenella sweater. So this is it here, and yeah, I just think that's really lovely. And not everybody likes that wide kind of collar, but I really like that. I don't know what it's called. That kind of collar, turn back collar. Yeah, and it's knitted in rice stitch, which I haven't knitted in before. But I mean, as with all knitting, it's just a combination of knit and purl stitches in the right places. So I'm really looking forward to starting that. So I haven't even checked my gauge yet, but I have got my yarn, and it's all ready, and it's cakes there. And I've chosen, yeah, overall sort of greenish colours, but it's got lots of little speckles of yellow and blue and things. It's going to look really lovely, I think. So I will be reporting back on that jumper. As I've said before, I'm not very fast at knitting. I'll be happy if I can get that jumper knitted for, for the autumn. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It depends what else I'm doing. I am coming to the end of my 100-day project where I'm making 100 different leaves. So as I'm chatting to you today, I've just got about, I think I've got 18 leaves left to do. And so today I'm just going to chat through the last week of leaves, and I have another little story for you as well. So I'm going to start with my day 75 leaf today. This is a felt leaf with holes in it and a lovely little woolly caterpillar that I made. I kind of been thinking for a while, well, not all leaves are perfect, unblemished, and so I wanted to make a leaf that looked like it had been nibbled a bit. For day 76, I made a collage using strips of paper, photographs that I'd cut out of a National Trust magazine, just all pictures, lots of lovely pictures of woodland, and so I thought I would put them together to make a little collage. For day 77, I did some hand quilting. So I used a couple of pieces of printed cotton, sandwiched with a bit of wadding sandwiched in the middle, and then just hand sewed around the edge and trimmed it with pinking shears. And then I just quilted around the flower shapes and then decided I needed a curvy shape joining up the flowers. For day 78, I did some metal embossing. So I upcycled a cider can and used a couple of crochet hooks for doing the actual embossing. I didn't have any embossing tools, but the crochet hooks worked pretty well. And it's a pretty simple thing that I've produced, but yeah, it's a leaf. And it was another new technique that I learnt. For day 79, I used some of my collection of pressed dried wildflowers to stick onto a leaf shape. Day 80, I'd come across a quote by the artist Charles Rennie Mackintosh, which is, "Art is the flower, life the leaf," and thought that if I was going to put that onto a leaf, I really needed some artwork inspired by Charles Rennie Mackintosh. So hopefully I've got the general feel for that style, which I really love. For day 81, I used some Fimo clay, I'm not sure how you say it actually, which is oven hardening clay. I just bought a little packet of white clay and had a lovely time with a rolling pin, rolling some leaves onto the clay and then cutting around the edge. I made a few actually, and then just chose my favourite one, or one of my favourite ones. It was quite hard to choose for this leaf, and it looks really effective, really good. I'm really pleased with it. And then finally, for today, day 82, is another story rhyme, and this was inspired, as you can see in the photo, by the leaf that I made for day 75, the little caterpillar on the leaf. I just thought, I could write a little story poem about the caterpillar. So I'm going to read that story to you now. A caterpillar came. I felt a little tickle and the presence of a prickle as the caterpillar crept across my blade, and my world began to wobble as the creature took a nibble, and I shook a little, feeling quite afraid. And I wondered if this creature might impinge upon my future as he gnawed a rather monumental hole. When he took another bite, how I trembled with the fright as the greedy caterpillar took control. Then I heard a quiet snip as he gobbled up my tip, and his mandibles were chewing very slowly. Yet another hole was made in my once unblemished blade, and my fine green skin began to look quite holy. As I wondered how I'd cope and began to give up hope, a surprising gust of wind began to blow. Caterpillar lost his grip, and he then began to slip, and he gently tumbled to the leaf below. How I sighed with such relief once the caterpillar thief had been ousted from his frenzied fervent feeding. For although he has to eat, I have no wish to be his treat, because my splendid coat's exactly what I'm needing. So there we go, another little story. Oh dear me. I did think originally I was going to have a different ending to the story and the caterpillar was going to meet a sad ending. But after I posted the photo of the caterpillar and leaf on Instagram and lots of people were saying in the comments that they loved the caterpillar, I thought, no, I'm going to have a different ending for my story. Oh dear me. Anyway, let's just go and have a little walk now. We'll go off into the woods. I found a secret supply of bluebells that I hadn't known was there before. So I think this time last year I took you on a little walk in a beautiful wood full of bluebells, which is a bit of a car ride away. But this is right on my doorstep and I hadn't even realised it was there. So come and enjoy the bluebells with me. Right then, time to go now. Thanks for spending your time with me today and do return. That would be lovely if you came back. And until then, keep yourself nice and busy and take care. Okay then, bye.